Hello, and welcome to another episode of Omnipresent Information Connection. My name is Noah Hanson, and I'm here with Kevin Peterson. How are you today, Kevin?
I am doing well. How are you, Noah?
Wonderful. And I just want to say, Kevin, I see you as a man of great integrity.
Thank you, Noah.
You've taught me many of the things about integrity that I know today. That's what this podcast is about today, and I want you first to start it off by defining integrity for those listeners who don't already know the definition.
Well, integrity is the state of being undivided together with the quality of brutal self-honesty.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. It demands a considerable depth of self-awareness and uncompromising willingness to be authentic. The first step to cultivating integrity is to recognize that we are not always honest.
Indeed. Because integrity is all about doing what you know is right.
Well, it's more than that. It's the permanent voice within us that already knows in advance what's right, what's wrong. And then we choose likewise to either follow it or not to follow it.
Yes, and as believers in God would agree with us, there is an objective truth to the universe, to morality. So there being an objective truth means that there is a truth that is above the subjective. There's a truth that is above what you and I might believe for ourselves. A truth that is solidified and always there.
Right. And let's start off the first topic of ancestral. The reason why we're doing all these podcasts with the three-step process is because it's important. Because we all have, at one form or another, have either had grandparents, great-grandparents, or nanas, whatever you want to call them.
Our elders, yes.
Our elders, right? But people that you know that have our best interest in mind. Someone other than a parent figure, right?
That's right.
And so, ancestrally, growing up, for me, was very, very important. When I was first growing up in California, I didn't have a grandmother or grandfather. We had to be able to fly in grandmothers and grandfathers and great-grandmothers and great-grandfathers if they wanted to see us kids, right? So that got to be very expensive for my parents. So eventually, one day, we had to be able to make a critical, life-changing decision and move from California to Iowa. For people that don't know Iowa, it's idiots out wandering aimlessly.
That's kind of harsh. Oh, my goodness.
That's the running joke in Iowa. But anyway, the bottom line is that it's individuals owning wealth with authority, right?
Wow.
It's another thing for the wealthy people in Iowa, right? So to be able to bring the ancestral part to a beautiful close is that once I got to Iowa and got to be able to spend time with my mother's and my father's parents, it became life-changing. It allowed me to be able to see for the first time why they were who they were, why my mom and my dad were saying and doing the things that they were doing. It gave me a new perspective on how to be able to not only grow myself, but to be able to value history, to be able to value the integrity of those people that raised my parents to be who they are today.
Yes, and that's how you got your nickname, Casey, was by spending a lot of quality time with your grandmother.
Yes, and she would always say that I was so kind and caring, because I would walk her, I would put my arm around her, and I would walk her home after she had spent time with us at our home. We were just next door neighbors, literally, and that was a beautiful blessing. But the beauty in it is that during this walk home, during this time of just being with her, she would ask me, how am I really doing? How are things really going on in the home? You know, how are you personally? What are you doing to make a life-changing difference in the hearts and minds and lives of other people? Being young, of course, I didn't have the great vision that I have now. I had very simple, very plain kind of thinking, right? So she would ask me questions to be able to get me out of that average, ordinary, less than extraordinary way of thinking, to be able to think outside the box, to be able to think in a new way on how to be able to communicate and to be able to share my life with another living human being, but in a positive way. Because while growing up, we were not born wealthy. We didn't come from wealth. And so everything was very common. We were very much so commoners while growing up. But the bottom line is that what it taught me is that it gave me a new perspective, not only on how people did what they did when they didn't have money, but then when my parents did have money, on the positive, proactive steps that they took to be able to keep it and to be able to have what's called ROI, return on investment, right?
Yes, and I'm sure there's quite a few lessons on humility in having wealth.
But it all starts with integrity, personal integrity. You can't grow something that you are not yourself. It's like being able to tell people that you are a great farmer, but you've never planted a single seed.
Yes, and we talked on the Valentine's Day podcast about how you have to know how to love yourself before you can truly love another person.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't know how you love to receive love, then how will you possibly know how to give love to another human being if you don't know what love actually is, how love is meant to be received?
Mm-hmm.
So there's many people, like we talked about in the Valentine's Day podcast, who receive love as material items, and that can get kind of problematic. But authentic love is where you are the gift yourself, in your being, in your relationship. And that's biblical, too, because our relationship with other human beings is the gift that we can give unto another human being.
Absolutely.
Showing them God within us.
Absolutely. So now, biblically, if you turn to Daniel, in later years, God gave Daniel the ability to interpret Nebuchadnezzar's dreams and wisdom to make good decisions. He was given a position of authority under the king and remained an officer under the next two kings. Throughout his entire life, he remained a man of virtue and integrity. That's in the Bible, right? In Daniel.
That's right. And the two other wise, commendable people that were with Daniel, who were also Israelites, had integrity, a certain amount of integrity too, and actually a high amount of integrity because they never caved in to renounce their God, to renounce the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And that one thing led to another, and then another familiar story in the book of Daniel is the people that were thrown into the furnace, who were these people that I'm talking about, who did not get touched by that fire. An angel of the Lord appeared to be with them in that furnace and keeping them from being burned.
Absolutely. Because what you protect protects you. You'll have to understand is that we break down the very complicated, the very strenuous, hard to be able to understand information, and we break it down so simply that you can be able to easily adopt it, manifest it, and to be able to keep this information alive, not only within you, but in other people too that you come in contact with. So please listen to what we're saying because it's very effective. It works every time that you work it. Every time you don't work it, you're going to get that negative result, right?
Indeed.
All of us have gotten nothing but negative results in the past without getting enlightenment, without getting education, without getting, the knowledge that we need to be able to succeed, right?
That's right.
So with that being said, is that the different translations of integrity within the Bible is completeness, perfection, wholeness, absoluteness, and entirety, right? These words don't give a lesser meaning or a crack in the system.
It just simplifies it.
It just simplifies it, right? When you are whole and complete as a person, so is your character, so is what you say, and so is what you do. If they are not one and the same, neither can you be, right? You can't put on a mask and be a good guy. We in society have to wear these COVID-19 masks to be able to protect another living human being. But this example that is being literally given to all of us is that it's part of putting on the full armor of God. When we have to put on these COVID-19 masks, we should be mindful. We can always talk negative. We can always talk derogatory. We can always talk with a, oh, woe with me type of life and lifestyle. But wouldn't it be a beautiful blessing if people could be able to hear positive, integral information coming out from a muffled mouth? How much different would your life be if all you saw was integrity being spewed out of these masks, right?
That's right. And I like that positive response to the times we're living in because, regardless of the muffling of the masks, your words need to be straightforward. Your words need to be integral. And a lot of people with these masks are complaining nonstop. And it's an unfortunate negative reaction. And I understand it completely. It's not fun to have to wear a mask and have a mask mandate. But don't let that change who you are as a person. Don't let that ruin your integrity. Let yourself continuously be a gift of enlightenment to another human being, which is also a gift unto yourself as well.
Right. So going back to the full meaning of integrity, integrity is the practice of being honest and showing a consistent and uncompromising adherence to strong moral and ethical principles and values. The word integrity evolved from Latin adjective integer, meaning whole or complete.
Right, and that's the biblical definition.
So, now we've covered ancestral, and we have covered a bit and piece of biblical. Noah, could you give us some more biblical insights that would really be able to bring this message to a fullness that our listeners are willing to hear?
Well, thank you, Kevin. I have got a few Bible verses right here written out for me, and I want to read them to you, but before I do, I want you to understand that what you're going to hear in these Bible verses is the straightforward results that can be reached when you have integrity. So in Proverbs 11, verse 3, it says, "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the crookedness of the treacherous destroys them." So stark contrast there. If you are crooked, you don't have integrity because you're not solidified in who you are. You're not complete. You're not whole. Philippians 4, verse 8. "Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things." Mm-hmm. And the more that you think about this, the more that you have this as the center of your focus in life, being able to focus on honorability, purified intention, whatever is lovely, commendable, excellence, anything worthy of praise. When you think about those, when you have that as a focus in your life, you'll start to notice the world around you conforming and being able to be seen in a different perspective, in a new way.
Oh, I see.
So lastly, we have the golden rule. Yes. Where it is found in the Bible is Luke chapter 6, verse 31. It says, "And as you wish that others would do to you, do so to them." And those are the words of Jesus himself.
Mm-hmm. Praise God.
So that last verse shows us in a very simplified way how we can have integrity. Just think about what would we want others to do to us. And when you reach a conclusion, do that to another human being.
Mm-hmm. Because honesty, this means telling the truth, being open, not taking advantage of others. It does not entail sharing unnecessarily information and has little to do with witch hunts or anything of that nature. Truth may be inconvenient, but it's a worthwhile investment because it pays dividends to your future self. By being integrity, being able to have honesty, to be able to have respect, to be able to have the generating trust, to be able to then have the pride, to be able to lower your pride, to be able to abolish your pride, to be able to eliminate things that hold you back, and then being able to have the responsibility to be able to be accountable for every word that comes out of your mouth and everything that you say and do, and then keeping the promises that our parents have asked us to do for generations and generations is very important. If you follow these steps, ladies and gentlemen, your life will change on a permanent positive level because your soul resonates at that level. If nobody's told you that before, let me be the first. Is that if you follow these simple principles, these simple guidelines, these simple instructions, it will literally transform your life just by applying them.
That sounds exciting.
Okay, so the reason why we've got our course study, the reason why we've got everything already set up for you is because we believe in you. We entrust in you that you will come and to be able to receive this information. We believe in you in such a degree that we've created a website, we have created other forums, we have created all kinds of different outlets for you to be able to communicate, to be able to let us know on how you're feeling and why you're feeling the way that you're feeling, so that you can be able to connect and resonate to another human being that can be able to help you in a likewise manner. That's paying it forward, right?
That's right.
So we have a pay it forward program with our company. And the beauty behind this program is absolutely beautiful, because what it does is that when you pay unto others, there is a return factor. And here's what I'm meaning, is that by donating, by contributing, by being a subscriber, by following our podcast, you're going to get behind the scenes information. You're going to get a more personal, intimate one-on-one with both Noah and I. And plus, on top of that, you're going to be able to get counseling. You're going to be able to get the type of services that you have been wanting for a long time now. We understand in advance that money is tight, that this is a bad economy right now, that things are not good. So that's why we put out to the universe for free this information, so that you can be able to literally take it in bite-sized pieces and apply it to your life today. So we are already paying it forward to you, and that's this information. The second thing is that our study series, if you have not gone to our website and taken a look at our study series, it is also life-changing, because not only will we have videos, not only will we be able to explain exactly step by step the things that you need to do to be able to apply, to be able to become the type of person that you demand yourself to be, but on top of it all is that you can then be able to, with integrity, share the information with other people, so that the people that you surround yourself up with will be equally as awesome as you. And that's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. And that's why I'm really looking forward to seeing who gets the benefits from these study series. But the entire podcast in itself is, in a way, a study series. It's just, a little more lengthy. So we've condensed all this information into courses for you to get a simplified version that is immediately applicable, immediately able to be applied to your life, and then shared and paid forward in your daily walk.
And what's also nice about this is that it is electronically, is that you can be able to not have to worry about saving it, because we have created a home for this information. And so we have many different outlets, many different platforms that we put this information on. And so if you don't resonate with a particular app like Instagram and or Facebook, come home to our website, right? Because our website is nothing but positive, pure information that whether it's a child or a full-grown adult can be able to read the information and get empowered and get inspired, get motivated, get entrusted, be able to get just completely awe-inspired in a new way, right? And that's why we enjoy in a new way giving you this information today. And so if you go to inanewway.com, you can get just that today.
Yes, and one part of having integrity is having the wherewithal to be able to have a conversation with someone who you don't necessarily agree 100% with, but have a conversation that is still respectful. And as you would know, listeners, already from listening to this podcast, Kevin and I love to have deep conversations. And that's kind of a broad term, deep conversation, but this is the type of conversation we want to have with you, a conversation that is not just surface level, one that is able to dive deep. You don't have to reveal personal information necessarily in our life coaching services that may reach some personal levels, but in our just deep conversations that we can conduct on the forums page, in the comment section of this very podcast, on the forums page of our website, and then in the email address that we have, oicadvantage@inanewway.com, we want to be able to dive deep with you into the subjects that matter most in your life. If you have anything that you want to learn about, we want to cultivate these conversations with you and with other people who visit that website, inanewway.com, so that we can have a place, a safe space to have respectful conversations. We may not necessarily agree on every single point, but one that really does leave people feeling better than when they came.
Mm-hmm. So if you are someone who has true integrity, thank you for being who you are, and thank you for all that you do. You really do actually make a difference in society. Please keep up the good work. If you feel no one else is proud of you, know that we are today, right? So now when it's coming to the scientifically accurate information, here's something that is going to really help. There's an awareness in the scientific industry when it comes to being a person of integrity. There are energy fields, there are wavelengths, there are literally things outside of the norm that get to be acknowledged and known because every vowel, every syllable, every word that comes out of your mouth has a tone. It has a volume. It has a resonance about it. And that energy is power. If you use it for positivity, it will be positively enlightening. If you use it in a negative way, it will be demonic, right? So people who have a strong sense of integrity are sadly a rare breed. However, there are still some people left in this world with integrity, and usually they share the following 13 traits. Noah, can I go over those real quick with you?
I'm looking forward to hearing them.
All right. Number 1, they value other people's time. I don't know about you listeners, but how many of you actually take the time out to be able to spend time with those people you actually call friends and just become a listening ear? Just hear what they have to be able to say, just to be able to spend time with them, to be able to let them know that their life matters, right? Second thing, they give credit where credit is due. They do not take credit for things they did not do. They will always credit those who deserve it. If you help this person with a project, he or she will likely mention your name so you can take credit for the work, right?
Yes, and biblically, it says in Proverbs that let another man's mouth praise thee. Don't praise yourself. Let someone else
Absolutely
talk about you highly.
Because that's the highest form of flattery and, and credit, right?
And humility.
Number 3, they are authentic. They are their truest forms. You won't catch them in a lie or being fake. I don't know about you women, but that's all of a starting point for most people in their relationships, right? Number 4, they are always honest. They are honest people that feel no need to lie, as it is important for them to get to where they need to get in life honestly. Number 5, they never take advantage of others. They are not the kind of people who will take advantage of someone else. They love to build people up and help them get where they need to be. Taking too much from someone else will never be an issue with someone who has a lot of integrity. Number 6, they do not argue over disagreements. That just never happens. They will talk through things in a civil manner and not talk at all, or talk at all, right? You cannot and will not force this person into arguing over something completely ridiculous. I find this to be a very respectable trait. Number 7, they give most people the benefit of the doubt. They try to see the good in everyone. I think this is because they feel like maybe there are more people in the world that also have integrity. That being said, if you take advantage of them too much, they will get rid of you quicker than you could possibly think. Number 8, they know when something is bothering someone. They have a great intuition that lets them know when something is going on. If someone is down in the dumps, they will notice. Chances are they will actually do what they can do to be able to cheer you up without even letting you know.
Yes, and Kevin, one point on that. Scientifically, when you have integrity, you are more centered of a person. And being more centered of a person, as an ad heart facilitator, I understand what heart math has researched about this topic of being centered. The center of your being truly is your heart, and your heart is a very intuitive organ.
Oh, very profound.
Yes, it is profound because it has an electromagnetic field that extends outside of your body and picks up different energies that are in your environment, and that intuition is reached by having a centered focus in your heart. So when you are centered, more intuition will follow suit.
And we have more information on the Heart Math Institute in the links below, right?
That's right. I'll put their website link in the description below.
Number 9, they believe others. They accept your word as truth until it is disproven. That being said, they do not take lying well. And once you lie to them, it is unlikely that they will ever take your word again. Number 10, they apologize first. This is important. If they have done something wrong, they will come to you and apologize. This is just how they are. They own up to their mistakes and try to make things right. Not just once, not just twice, but at least 3 times in the same conversation.
Yes, and 7 times 7 if necessary.
Number 11, they are humble. They do not quite know their own worth. While they are very important and do so much good, they don't quite see it. You should remind them of it. These are godly people. Number 12, they do good when they can. They are always helping other people. You see this trend of helping people, always inspiring to try to help people. They love to know that they have improved someone's life. It gives their life meaning. Number 13, they are always kind to those who need it. This is critical. This is important. Giving kindness can go a long way. When someone looks like they need a little pick-me-up, these people deliver. Let me say that again. When someone looks like they need a little pick-me-up, these people deliver. They can brighten up almost anyone's day. That's why we have created, that's why we have established, that's why we have manifested and brought forth this information for you today, is that we have the tools, we have the resources, we have the knowledge, we have the insight, and we have the inspirational connections that will help you to be able to live your life in a new way today.
Very powerful, Kevin. Yes, that is why I'm so excited about this website, inanewway.com, and everything that we dish out on that website, because it's all centered towards benefiting your life starting today. We have reached the end of our time limit for this podcast. If you enjoyed what you heard, please comment below and let us know what you thought of this podcast. Thank you to all of our regular listeners, and thank you to all of our new listeners. If you are new, please check out our Patreon page and see there what benefits you can receive from becoming a patron to our podcast and website starting today. And we will meet you on the next episode of Omnipresent Information Connection.
Oh, I see. This has been another life-enhancing, authenticated podcast aired by the OIC and brought to you by the faithful OIC sponsors and contributors. Please tune in every week and subscribe to our podcast. And while you're there, explore our website with all the posts, videos, and podcasts that we have created with you in mind. While you're on the journey through our website, you will see our Patreon page where you can become a faithful contributor yourself with the freedom to be a part of our team today. Thank you.